In episode 286, I found Thank Me Later, and I remembered now that he wasn't going to be there last week. He's here this week. It's 286. We have Sparklet Wars recap that's over, some Genesis Week announcements, Genesis season coming up, and of course, racing. Stay tuned for all the shenanigans.
The Upland Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UPX.
Welcome to the Upland Property Experts Podcast, episode number 286. I'm not Thank Me Later. I'm too stupid to win, and I'm joined by Thank Me Later once again.
I don't even know where to go from that.
At least you're paying attention.
Yeah, hey, we got Maui in, we got C Prado, we got the Metaventure, City Pigeon, Jacob for Jesus, James Taylor, Unprofessional Puppets, City Pigeon, Shaq Edison, Real Note LA in the house. Represent first. We got a full house. I like it.
Swarley.
Hey, there's our boy Swarley. Yes. Still morning here, Swarley.
It's still morning there. Yes. Good morning, good evening, good whatever it is for you. All right. Let's hear. Got a lot to cover today. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you figure it out? So like that was hilarious because and I was like, you were pretty sauce the last time we talked.
Yeah.
But I felt fairly confident. And I mean, I know it wasn't like we didn't have an in-depth conversation because I definitely was like last minute of like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm out next week. And it was definitely just in passing. And then like Thursday at like 8:60, are you gonna be on the show? And I'm like at this convention, I'm like, oh, bro, forgot. Or I was like, man, I know I told some people about it. I was like, maybe I didn't tell him.
No, you told me. I just forgot.
Yeah, did I get a new? I think I just changed my light. I don't know.
Yeah, and but Lightning Leg jumped in and helped me out, and Mass stuck around too. So it was a good show. Some people didn't like it because as much as we've talked about our frustrations with Upland, I was trying to start getting excited for Genesis season, Genesis week, because this will be the 6th one. And it just, I was hoping to start rekindling some good feelings for Upland and be excited about something because, Genesis week was coming. So there's more to that too. But, and then I got some feedback that we were throwing fluff and trying to turn polish a turd and stuff like that, and there was no intent to it. Just I thought there was going to be this week, there was last week, this week, and I thought next week was going to be Genesis week because that's how the live events have gone. I forgot that the digital events always went the second full week of June versus the live events were always the first full week of June. So it's actually 2 weeks from today, or 10 days from today, that will be in the Genesis week. So I wasn't trying to spin fluff or, and Lightning Leg's still excited about Upland, and he's got a lot of stuff that he's working through, and Chef's been doing racing forever. So, it just kind of like bummed me out getting into this week that people, I don't know. People are starting to get to me, I guess, after almost 5 years on this show. I guess that's where I'm trying to get.
Yeah. No, I get that. I literally just found out right before the show that Genesis week was like, I mean, I know that it's been in the announcements and like I've read like the information, but like, I don't know. I guess I didn't process it mentally. But I will be in Vegas still next week. We're doing a friendscation. Going to be playing a lot of board games, unplugging, and hanging out with some friends in Vegas. So that'll be fun. I'll be doing a live broadcast from Vegas next week, which will be interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard when the community is often the best and worst part of Upland. Sometimes, some of my best friends have absolutely come from the fluffers are backstage looking at you, Chef. Hook her up those lips, boy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've definitely seen a variety of characters come in and out of this community for sure.
Yeah. And like I had a plan to do, hey, because you still have till tomorrow, Friday, May 30th to vote or to nominate. You're not voting, you're nominating people for consideration for Upland Community Awards. I had a strategy I was going to do this week, and I was even dejected about that. I'm just like, Brandon, what's up? I am in the 440, brother.
Oh, yeah. Shout out. Yeah, I mean, they have to have at least 3 to make a category competitive.
Yeah.
And so what? And I'm not trying to insult, but it's us, it's ninjas.
You got Goldie, you got Upland After Dark, you got the show that Chef does on Saturday nights with City Pigeon and why am I forgetting their name? There's a lot of content out there right now. Yeah. So it's a good field. So we'll see who ends up there. And designer of the year is always tough, and player of the year is always tough. I did talk last week that I dislike the nomination process because you get a bunch of messages from players that you never interacted with asking you to nominate them for player of the year or nominate them for designer of the year. Or you don't get it with broadcaster of the year. I think they leave us alone about broadcaster of the year, but yeah, I get a lot of comments for player and designer of the year.
Well, yeah, who's going to message you hey, vote for us for broadcaster of the year? It should be us messaging. Actually, that's anybody who messaged me about any of those nominations. I'm yeah, I'll nominate you. Just nominate the podcast. Yeah. I'll swap nominations with you. But luckily only one person reached out, and I did nominate them for player of the year because they were the only one that asked.
Yep, and KO got it too. Forgot about Al Slack, the Vulgar Uplander, Metaverse Malin. Yeah, a lot of stuff out there. So
lot of stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's get Shaq.
If you have to ask for votes, you probably don't deserve to win. It's not just that. I mean, it's a competitive field, and I think it's fair. It's hard to those are just really difficult. They're all really difficult titles if you really think about it, because player of the year, I think each community has their own player of the year, right?
Right.
If you think of any given community, they have somebody who's probably helped them dramatically. So it's a very hard topic. Designer of the year. Again, I think that there's different factions that use different designers. So I think it's going to be, it's going to continually be more and more difficult to achieve those awards. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they scale. And if they ever start putting qualifications as opposed to just, I mean, it makes sense that it's a popularity contest to some degree, but.
And that's just for the nomination. Then the Upland team takes over and then they decide the winners.
Yeah. Well, do they decide I thought they just did that for broadcaster of the year. No, I actually thought player of the year was determined by the community.
No. It's all nominations. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
And then the Upland team decides.
Oh, so we're definitely not winning then. That's what you're saying? So, all right. So we're going to be lucky to get on that. I think they have to, it's almost, I feel it's obligatory. We're the reigning champs. We have been nominated every year. We've been doing this longer than anybody else. We did the 31 for 31. To not make the ballot would be an absolute insult, beyond anything. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. You got the Upland.
And that's not to take anything away, because we've already mentioned, you rattled off several amazing, great content creators.
And the Upland Guide's great for new players. And so, yeah, you just remember more and more as you sit here and think about it. But yeah, fair enough. And if you haven't seen the 31 Uplanders in 31 days, that was an awesome series. Definitely go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. And yeah, vote for your favorite broadcaster. You don't even have to vote for us, honestly. Vote for, who do you genuinely enjoy watching the most? That's who deserves to win. Because I'm definitely not saying, sitting here saying we deserve to win. I mean, should we win? Yeah, hell yeah. Because I do think we are the best. I think we are the most honest. I think we report the most straightforward. I think we've been the most consistent. And quite honestly, I think we're the best. So, but I know that there's a lot of other great competition out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks, Happy.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of talent. It's very competitive. Like, honestly, my vote, if I was actually going to vote, like, let's say I had to vote for somebody who wasn't us, because if I'm voting for us, obviously. That's who I put my nomination in for. I'm not that. But I think my other top two picks, it would be like choosing your favorite kit. The Ninjas, absolutely. I mean, they're one of my just favorite community teams. I could see the Ninjas, if they don't take broadcaster, I could see one of them taking even community member of the year. I could see Mass taking member of the year, like player of the year, honestly. Like, I think for everything that he does for the community and what he's done, not just in racing, but I think his reach goes, I know we like to put him in his racing bubble, but I think his general reach and approachability and positivity in the entirety of Upland, I would even put him as a strong contender for player of the year personally. And of course, my dude Goldie, his shenanigans, I like Goldie. So, it's great broadcast as well.
Yeah, City, I haven't got to the number show yet. Baseball season picked up, gymnastics season picked up. Just coordinating my schedule with Thank Me Later scheduled to do that. Still have that, still in the intention to put together the numbers series and get that out to everybody, which will include the fastest time and the slowest time, who we already know who that is. It's fun.
Like, I don't even remember anything. I barely remember those 31. I will never forget that Coach was the absolute slowest time. But much love to Coach. That's another takeaway from Coach. Absolutely one of my favorites. Yeah. There you go. Bubbits is telling you, don't put your votes on him. Save it for somebody else.
All right, let's get Mass in here and talk some racing.
Let's get some racing started.
What is going on, guys? How we doing today?
Great, Mass. How are you?
Fantastic. So I just want to state for the record that just because I have a driver that races for me named Foreskin, that doesn't mean I like fluff. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. So. Goodness. Anyway, all right. So, first of all, I want to say we have a pretty cool announcement. So we do know that Genesis Week is going to start on June 9th. And I just had a meeting today with the Upland team, and the Ultimate Racing League is going to kick off the very first event for Genesis Week on Monday. That is going to be our Genesis Week Finals, Monday, June 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And that is going to be our Genesis final race. This is the year-long race. This is for all the marbles. This is for bragging rights for a full year. And we have the top 12 drivers are stacked up, and they're ready to go. We've got City Pigeon, Crowley 27, Cruiserito, San Mahoney, Matsuda, Wander 1976, Akapropi, Alejo making his way up into the 8th position, Risey in 9th, Bajo in 10th, JH 2271 making his way up into the top 12 after the last season finals, along with Metaspook. So it's going to be awesome. X1's going to be joining us on the show. He's got a ton of stuff to talk about for Genesis Week. So we're super excited about it. I hope everybody has a chance to join us on the 9th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And that's not all. We are racing the San Francisco Speedway for Genesis Week finals. This thing is ridiculous. This is 5.86 miles.
Wow.
It is 32 turns. It has the craziest chicanes that you could ever get on a racetrack at turns 17 through 25. It is literally just 7 turns of zigzag.
Wait, is it the famous hill?
Crooked Lombard Street?
Is it Crooked Lombard?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
So it is just an absolute ridiculous track. These races are going to last at least 8 minutes. Could potentially go to 8.5, depending on how the races are going. But this is just a sick track. It's going to be a ton of fun. Honestly, cannot wait. So everybody, especially our finalists, get out there, start practicing this track, because our leader, our board leader there, City Pigeon, is going to be on this track. He's going to be practicing the crap out of it. So if anybody wants to stand a chance against CP in the year-long finals, get out there and get practicing on this track. Get your boost sorted out and figured out, and know what you're doing, because this track is a ton of fun. But it is super long, and you can lose your place on the track very, very easily. So we want everybody out there, and we're giving away prizes on the show. We've got announcements coming from Upland on the show. It's going to be just absolute mayhem. So make sure you join us on Monday, June 9th for that. It should be super awesome. Can't wait.
Any big tips or tricks for it?
For that track?
Yeah.
Pucker. I can tell you, especially when you're hitting 17 through 25 there, in that little section, brakes are very important. And even if you're going slow, you can still skid, but there is kind of an ideal speed. And you got to pretty much be roughly under 100 kilometers per hour when you hit that, in order not to skid. I was trying to get it the other night when I was practicing the track. I was trying to get through there at like a 120, 140, and you can get through the first few, but you hit that last 2 or 3 and you start to skid, and then you're just screwed, because once you get on to turn 26 and 27 and 28, it's a big S turns. You can really get hurt in that area of the track if you're not paying attention. And it is really easy to get lost on the track. It is such a long race that it is super easy to lose your place, lose where you're at. So you really have to pay attention and practice. That's all I can tell you. This is a track that really demands your attention, for sure.
All right. Good to know.
All right, stepping over to the Ultimate Racing League, we had week number 6, and the Hyde Park Ninjas are riding the high, because KO Ninja came in and alternated for SC Kicker last week, and he laid down the extreme wood, because he not only won his heat race, but he went on to win the race number 6 as well as an alternate. So he came in and he stepped on it. It was awesome. So big hats off to KO for jumping in on that and really taking home the race. So it was just a spectacular race. He did a great job. Vape High Guy grabbing the second place position. Foreskin grabbing third. They've all moved
Foreskin's
up.
finally showing himself.
He is finally showing himself
all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And he moved up 3 spots. He was one of the big movers. Now, I don't know if we had a first last week, the first time this has ever happened in the history of the Ultimate Racing League, and that is Matsuda finished dead last.
What?
Wow.
Did he race?
He raced and finished dead last.
Oh, wow.
And he dropped 5 positions as a result on the leaderboard. So he was the big mover, but in the wrong direction. So that is the first time in the history of the URL that Matsuda has finished outside of the roughly the top 8. I think was his lowest position prior to that.
What happened? Like just bad day? Like
there was a huge crash going into one of the turns, and Matsuda got caught in it. City Pigeon got caught in it. And I want to say, I can't remember who the third driver was that got caught in that race. But they just could not recover after it. It was such a massive hit that none of them could recover. And it was, once you get into a crash like that, it is so hard to catch back up. And only the really good drivers can stay, can get caught back up again. And both of those guys, they definitely put the effort to try to catch back up and just couldn't do it. So yeah, he for the first time ever finished in last place.
Wow.
Yeah, that was wild. So we are going back to Creedmoor this week. So
Love it. Yeah.
I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a rundown here. So we were supposed to run Twin Lakes races. That was the track that was slated to run this week. After some extensive testing on the track, I got a message early in the week that there were some issues with the track. So started to go in and run it, test it. I had some other guys test it. Lightning Leg was testing it on his stream. And there was just too many issues to overcome. So what was happening was there's a white screen flash that happens when the race first starts. You get this white screen flash, the race comes back on, and then some random driver, I've seen it with first place, I've seen it with last place, I've seen it with fourth place. They get around on the last lap, they cross the finish line, and it puts them in last place and gives them an extra lap that they have to run. So I've seen that happen on a couple of tracks before, but not quite to this extent. And it's pretty much been just about every race, probably 85% of the races are having that issue on that track. So, we did submit the issues over to the dev team. But I just don't think that they're going to be able to fix it in time for us to race on it tomorrow. So we'll bring the track back, in later dates in the, next season. But in the meantime, we're going to rerun the Creedmoor circuit this week, 1.49 miles. This has got 13 turns. Cool track. The guys, the drivers should know it. Hopefully with a couple of practice runs, because we just made the announcement earlier this evening that we were doing the track switch. So hopefully, hopefully these drivers have a chance to get out there and do a few practice runs before the races tomorrow. They should be pretty much used to the track. We've raced this track several times. So it should be a pretty easy switch for them. And quite frankly, it's just an awesome track. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of stuff to look at in Creedmoor. So, and no, Shaq, you did not have to pay extra for that. That one's
she meant for the witchcraft.
Yeah, that one's going to be free of charge. All right, heat number 1, we've got Bajo, Akapropi, Sincere 87, TB 125, Matsuda as our starter, and Ja Rashad running heat number 1. Nobody racing teammates in this heat. However, we start to get into that in heat number 2 with Vape High Guy, San Mahoney, Metaspook, Phalos Twist as our starter, and Wander 1976 with Metaspook and Wander both running heat number 2 as teammates, which also means that heat number 3 also has to have teammates running in it as well. And that is, again, City Pigeon running with Castle Elite Racing is alternating for Buellman. SC Kickers, our starter. JH2271, Foreskin, Picasso, and Funky Beats. So we've got
it's not Buellman, it's Boilerman.
Boilerman. I don't know. I've always called him Buellman. I don't know why.
But we learned in 31 Uplanders in 31 days, it's Boilerman.
Boilerman.
Yeah, like Boilerman.
That totally makes sense. Huh. He's never corrected me, and I've talked to him live several times. I don't know why he's never corrected me. That's interesting. Boilerman. All right. I don't know if I could get used to saying that now. I've been saying Buellman for years.
Right.
And so
you said it, and I haven't corrected you, and I'm like,
like nobody has corrected me ever.
And we did his episode like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So of course, as I said, we've switched off the Twin Lakes races. We're racing on Creedmoor. Next week is our finals. And of course, we are on the Northumberland track, running as the UpX podcast is hosting that track for us next week. So that will be our final race for the Champions Series. And we are still literally cannot call it. There's only a few points separating. And I'm going to jump back to that real quick because there is only 9 points that are separating the top 2, 10 points the top 3, 12 points the top 4. So it literally anybody in the top 4 right now has a perfectly good opportunity to run in. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that the middle part of the board can't come up and take over some of those spots as well and at least get a podium spot, because if any of those top 3 drivers have poor performance in the last 2 races, they could drop significantly on the board. Because with an 18-point spread, you can pick up points very quickly in just a couple of races. So it's definitely not.
Matsuda proved that very strongly this week, right?
Right, with a 5-place drop. He was up and he was holding second place alone just last week and dropped down to 7th. So
we ran Creedmoor earlier in the season, correct? Which race was that?
We did. That was race number. Hang on, let's see. I believe it was San Mahoney that ran it, that won it last time. Yeah, that was week number 2. So that was a San Mahoney win.
So I know it was a new racing format in week number 2, but yeah, that's a San Mahoney win.
Mm-hmm.
But Kicker came in second. So
that is correct. Yep. So, I know SC was messaging me earlier. He was a little stressed because his schedule's really, really busy. So he was stressed a little bit when I made the announcement that the track was changing. So I told him to just, as soon as you jump in with a couple of practice runs, you're going to remember, and it'll be fine. So, don't stress it. It'll be good. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Plus, didn't I see City Pigeon was an alt this week?
City Pigeon is an alternate this week. He's racing. He raced last week as an alternate, and he's racing again this week as an alternate.
He's calling his spot now. I see him. He's doing the Babe Ruth. That's what I take that as. Yeah. Like, I'm number 1. I'm right. It's my race.
Right, and you certainly can't. Anytime City Pigeon's in a race, you have to watch out for him because he can take the win at any point in time. So. You certainly can't count them out of anything. So I think it's really going to be an interesting week of racing this week. And then, of course, don't forget, after the races this week, we have a special race going on, and I'm going to jump to that real quick. It's the Tolton SS Challenge. This is 6 drivers that are all racing for a $250,000 UpX prize pool with lots of other prizes, and we are going to give away a full set of these carts during that race to one of our lucky viewers. So these are some cool carts. So if you want to grab some carts, come and check out the race. It's going to be fun.
Those are fun carts. I like those.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're super cool. And these are some of these in this series is very low mints. The black one there on the left, there's only 22 mints of that one. The one on the upper right, the orange and black one, there's only I believe 99 mints of that one. So there's some pretty rare carts in this block. So somebody could win some really cool carts and some really rare carts coming up on Friday. So check us out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mass.
All right, guys.
And the final on Friday 6/6, that is Genesis Day. Not Genesis Week. That is Genesis Day when the first property was minted in Upland back in 2019.
That is correct. So that's a really big week for everybody. It's a really big week for us. Really big week for you guys because I know You guys have been around, for a really long time, and we certainly can't thank you enough, and we can't thank all of our sponsors. Really, we just can't thank everybody enough, because it has been the support that we're getting from the community and from just everywhere has been phenomenal. And I honestly, I'm just very, very grateful for everyone.
No, it's been our pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
Very cool. All right, gents, we'll have a great night, and we will see you on the track.
Sounds good. Take care, man. Thanks.
Peace out.
All right. And racing. All right. So yesterday, Upland did put out the Genesis season pass. So Genesis season starting here on Saturday, June 1st. And, I look forward to collecting my Genesis badge 2X. It goes 7 weeks. And if you haven't looked at the price difference between purchasing something in the app stores now versus purchasing onto the web, oh my.
Yeah, it was $28 in app, $19.99 out of app.
Yeah, and it was $6.99 for your normal passes and $9.99 in app.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So if you got to buy something from the store, definitely wait till you get, or find a browser or log on through whatever browser you use on your phone or tablet.
That'd be interesting because Apple doesn't like that. I can tell you right now. Like, I don't know, like, when, and if Upland gets to scale, because I really think that Apple has a pretty stern policy on like price parity, like, because you're driving people away from the App Store and making App Store purchases, and they don't like that.
Right.
I'd be curious if anybody knows, like, do other games offer price parity or price difference from buying in-app versus web? I'm trying to think of games like Fortnite or Minecraft or anything, like if they have different price points in-app. Roblox, like if you purchase Robux, I don't even know if you can purchase them. I would assume in-app.
Yeah, you can.
I'd be very curious if there's a price difference inside of the app versus outside the app. Because again, it feels like that. I mean, you could say F Apple all you want, but the reality is without Apple, you're not mainstream. Like, if you don't have an iOS app in the mobile gaming world, you're not in the mobile gaming world.
I'm just surprised how much the markups are that they're charging.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I didn't even really blink up. Like, I paid my $9.99. I didn't even think about it. I was going to pay the $30. I ended up having to buy secondary market, which is kind of funny because the person who bought it, shocker, from Brazil, who got it immediately, messaged me and was like, "Yo, I'm thinking about buying this. Do you want it?" And I'm like, and then he showed me the in-app. People were selling for like $60, $70. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not paying that. And then I was just like, I'll pay you $30 because that's what I was going to pay in-app anyway. And
right.
So I bought one. It was actually Mint 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, well, just burn it.
So they did announce I know we jumped ahead, and they announced the Gold Pass, which was for Genesis Week. It's the Genesis Week Gold Pass, and it says it adds extra layer of rewards to your Genesis Week experience, and it unlocks exclusive prizes, usually what you saw for the in-person attendees. You'll get all the cosmic drops, limited edition Genesis Week 25 Block Explorer, a Genesis 25 go-kart, and access to bonus prize opportunities during the week. So that's pretty cool. $19.99. Now here's where I had the problem. So there's 320, and that's usually right around the amount of tickets, that they allow for Genesis Week, but the issue was it just went all to the public. Upland talks about wanting to make utility out of things. This would have been a perfect time to use the badges. use the badges. The people that have gone, or the people that own the early bird block explorers, or the people that have gone to 2 Genesis weeks and has the Genesis week live 2X badge, give them early access, give them first shot at it. I was pretty livid that I was going to miss out on this because, as I said before, G Week's, my favorite thing.
Yeah. And like the timing of it. Because like they made an announcement, and as soon as it was announced on Discord, I feel like I went to the app to just see, and all I saw laughably was 2 sets of unsold Wars assets that hadn't been sold out yet, which I kind of chuckled to myself. But then there wasn't anything. And then this morning, like in our group chat, it's like, oh, I'm an hour out from the pass. And I'm like, when the hell did this even happen? And yeah, like, where's the the I don't know, the appreciation for community that's been supporting you? Yeah. Like, so now it's just any randoms who weren't going to attend in person ever anyway, like, why didn't you whitelist the people who had gone previously? Like, that seems absolutely insane to me. And I honestly don't know why I bought it. I mean, I don't want to miss the badge.
G Week.
It's G Week. It still is G Week. Like, I still want it to mean something. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, they could sell me like G Week. I'll buy all the dumb stuff. Like,
yeah,
I've turned into you. I've turned into you over the last 5 years. Like, I was thinking about G Week, and I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it all. I'm getting G, and then I'm like, I turned into thank me later. I'm like, because before I'm like, that's dumb. That's dumb. You're like, oh, I'm buying it all. I want it all. And yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no, I mean, because like I actually like, and I mean, I don't know, there's no way to verify this, but I can almost guarantee I was one of the first people to buy a ticket to G Week whenever it came out, because they did it through Eventbrite, and I have my Eventbrite alerts turned on.
Yep.
And I would buy those tickets before they announced it on Discord, because I would get that notification and instantly buy it, because I wanted the early bird and I wanted to show my support. And yeah, it feels kind of shitty. Like, oh, like I had to buy one secondary.
Now I did purchase a second one, and I was going to give it to you because I was towards the tail end. I was like, I got an hour and 20-minute wait. And there is no way that's the other shocking part is 320 of these lasted an hour and 20 minutes for me to get one. And then I was able to get a second. It was like a 2 minute and 45-second timer. So there were a couple people after me in the wait line. And then it opened up to the general public. And if you didn't click right away, it was gone quickly.
Yeah, no, I waited like half a second. I was sitting there because I was like, oh, how do I want to pay for it? And then I was like, oh, I couldn't remember if my like PayPal worked on the web, because I was like, I didn't want to pay $30 for another one. But by the time I like had like half a second hesitation, it was gone.
And I got my email this morning. And usually and then that pissed me off too, because I was looking for the email about 11 o'clock. I'm like, okay, 11:05, 11:10. I kept checking my email, waiting to see where I was in position. It finally came in at 11:55, and then it showed me there were 780 players ahead of me. And I'm like, I go, there's no way I'm getting this. 780 players ahead of me. I got an hour and 20 minute wait. And I actually got it, which shocked me in itself too, that I figured these would be a little hotter of a commodity.
I mean, I don't know. Like, again, they don't really tell you what you get. I mean, you get a couple like goodies that, I mean, again, we're doing it because, we're like, I still have to buy the season pass. I still need those badges. Like I'll give a perfect example. Hearthstone. I stopped actively playing Hearthstone probably a year or two after it came out. And I spent 8 years every month logging in to just get my card back. Like, do the minimum thing to get my card back. Because like, I was like, I don't care about this game really much anymore, but maybe I want to have this thing. So like, I'll be honest, I'll probably buy a season pass, but whatever the minimum, like I'm not doing anything extra to get my interest up at this point. Like whatever it is, it is. And I know that that's going to cost me hundreds of thousands of UpX every month, but I don't know. I just,
and then to me, that was the other frustrating part about it. So back at the end of March, they announced, hey, G Week Live is not happening. We're going to do a digital thing. I was very disappointed with this announcement. I thought there would be more with it. Okay, Seasons Pass is cool. And then I was excited. I'm like, oh, okay, you're bringing out the Genesis Week Gold Pass. So I was excited. Hey, you dropped Genesis Week. You got my attention. And then it was very nondescript. But then at the other hand, I mean, it's like, I don't know.
Have some more whiskey and tell us what you really think.
Yeah. Very conflicted on that. But like, I shouldn't have been surprised that I was disappointed. I shouldn't have been surprised that I was disappointed.
Yeah.
You had the time to put something together. This is the 6th Genesis week. 6. This is the 6th one.
Yeah.
You're not doing it live. You announced this back at the end of March. We're at the end of May. And you push Genesis week back to the second week of June, second full week of June, which, you know, for the previous 3 years, it's been the first full week of June, and it hasn't been the second full week since 2022.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you lose all your good marketing and communications people.
Yeah. So yeah. So I was pissed that they missed the opportunity of utilizing the badges, excluding the people that have made their way to Genesis Week Live for the last 3 years. I was expecting them to give us some sort of whitelist or something special. I believe the rest of the community gets a chance at it, but to just dismiss everything and get it to the random stuff, and then to watch them today come out with their Sparklet Wars piece and talks about, you know, the people. They didn't say price gouging in there, but I'm going to call it price gouging because people bought it with no intention of using this, just to flip it to make money. Yeah, and which is fair. Yeah. It's part of the game, but for the collectors and the people that have spent the time and gone to Vegas, you know, you don't feel appreciated at times for what you've done in the game with the community for years. And it just reminds you that, yeah, just reminds you. I'll leave it there.
Yep. I remember back when Upland used to care about its players. It was a good time. It's a simpler time when llamas roamed free and we held hands like kumbaya.
All right. I think I'm done ranting about these Genesis Week Gold passes.
Should we rant about Wars now? How that Wars announcement, like, I'm glad you sent it to me. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if anybody could have predicted that the format and the way it was going was not going to go smooth. I don't know. And then flashback to clip where I said, I told you so. I told you it was a terrible format. I told you all the things that were going to go wrong, and they all went wrong. Like, and I mean, I guess I appreciate that they owned up and that it's fair that, you know, you gotta give it a couple cycles to see and to get the feedback and to collect the data. And, you know, I'm glad that after, you know, season 3, and now you had, you know, last season you had the Pirates not sell out. And then now you have 2 of your 3 factions not even sell out of your core assets. They might have sold out now. I don't know. But
no, it wrapped up, so they took them down. That's why they're down, because Sparklet Wars is over.
Yeah. And so, like, I just go, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. Also, huge congrats. this Knights has more price gougers and sales than people. Yeah. Huge shout out to the Cyborgs who continued their dominating, and they deserve it. Like they coordinated, they did exactly what you were supposed to do. And so honestly, like I like that they gave like a three-peat. I appreciate players like Shaq. I assume Tara was in it. And whoever else, all of the Cyborg leaders that kind of stuck in there and made it happen. Much deserved. Super, super cool. Not your fault at all. The whole design of it, I think, just misses the mark. And you know what? I do appreciate Upland's transparency with it. Like, I'll give credit where credit's due. Like, they came out and, were very blunt about the fact that balancing out traditional gaming elements in a Web3 is difficult, that tokenizing everything isn't the answer. Like that's hello. Yes, you don't need to tokenize everything. Like that's not the appeal of Web3. And in fact, I had kind of an epiphany. So I'll do a quick aside here. Not that I'm talking enough anyway. So last week I was out because I was at Board Game Geek spring 2025 here in Dallas, and it was amazing. And I'm a big fan of community. I realized I hate greed. And now I say that as somebody who likes expensive things. I like the premium of almost everything. If there's a premium option, I want it. But to me, that is not necessarily greedy, because and especially I'll talk about it in the context of board gaming. When I buy a premium version of a board game with all the upgraded tokens and the metal coins instead of the paper money and all that good stuff, I get to bring it and play with all of my friends. So all of my friends get to enjoy the premium version of it. And yeah, obviously it's a little bit of, I got the nice one, like a little bit of bragging rights, obviously. Not going to lie, that's my thing. I like bragging about it. And in Upland, I kind of like that too, where I liked that we could have, say, Alamo Square, and it wasn't like a competition or I'm better than you or anything. It was just, but it was like a status symbol. You had nicer things. I think where Upland is missing the mark is like these premium things. Like they did a little bit of like elevating in like the neighborhood stuff. But to me, that's where Wars really missed the mark, is because you were using these assets to battle and to tear each other down. And that is just not a good look in Web3 at all. Like if I'm going to play Monopoly, I want like the gold encrusted version that plays with real money, like not to keep real money, but like I want like legit, like I want the upgraded everything. I want the board made out of, endangered elk skin. I don't know. Anyway,
sorry, I saw a bright shiny object and have to tell this story really quick.
Oh yeah, no, do it.
So speaking of money, one of the side projects I'm working on, my buddy asked me if I knew where to get some authentic prop money. I'm like, oh yeah, I watch this site all the time for prop money, and it sells the money to TV shows and all that. So it's legit, it's worn, it has non-sequential serial numbers, it comes all banded up, right? So they had a deal going on. So I purchased 120,000 in play money, right? But it like looks legit, but it doesn't feel legit. But if you see it on camera and all that, it's legit. And I didn't think nothing of it. I ordered it. It showed up today. My wife came home from work. She was headed out of town to go see a childhood friend with her family for the weekend. And she calls me and she like sounds like really weird. She's like, hey, can you talk? I'm like, yeah. And she said, I just came home to grab my bag, and we got a couple of packages delivered today. I'm like, okay. And she said, I thought they were my vitamins and a shirt that I ordered, but I opened it up. Were you expecting anything? And I said, the money showed up, huh? And she's like, so you were expecting the money? I'm like,
the money showed up. Like I like that's how you say it.
She's like, she goes, so you were expecting this? I'm like, yeah. She's like, where'd it come from? I'm like, propmoney.com. I said, and she's like, what? I go, it's fake money. She goes, no, it's not. I said, look on it. It says motion picture use. I go, look to the right of it. I said, it's there on it. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's fake. She goes, no, this looks real. I'm like, it's not real. And she's like, she goes, it's not real. She's like, you got me all excited. I go, who would send $120,000 in the mail, just in a FedEx package that appears on your doorstep with no signature? And she's like, I got super excited. I'm like, I go, I would tell you if I had $120,000 coming, because that's kind of hard to hide. Number one. Number two, we talk about our finances all the time. So I'm like, I didn't think I had to tell you I had funny money coming in. And she's like, what are you even doing with that? I'm like, I go, so-and-so asking about it and we're going to use it there. So, and then I'm like, man, I wish I had. She's like, it's not funny. She's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, I can't believe you thought this was real.
That's hysterical, man. And she's sitting there like, oh my God, we had so much money. Where did you get this money from? Like,
so she opened it up. And the lady that watches our youngest was here too. And she's like, what is this? And she pulls out a stack. It's like this. And then she's like, what? And then she pulls out another stack. And then she pulls out the other stack. And then she's like, what is it? And she's counting it up. It's wrapped in 10,000. It's got 10,000 bands on it. And she's counting it up. And she's,
oh my God.
So then I bring my daughter home from gymnastics and I was getting the other kids out of the car. She comes out and she's got it in both hands. She's like, we're rich. And then the kids and the little ones are like, that's not real. Get over it. They told me that's not real. Get over it. They're like, that's daddy's play money.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go grab it to show you how legit it is now that I thought I should have grabbed it for the story. I forgot all about it. I'll be right back. But talk about Sparklet Wars.
I'm not going to talk about Sparklet Wars. I'm going to talk about community, board game. And if you're not sending too stupid pictures of your feet anymore, get back on that. I think he needs more toe pictures. The more disgusting, the better. But if you're into board games at all, my partner and I'll do a mini plug while he's out. Started a new social media project called Lucky Frog Gaming. This is our little Lucky Frog logo. Her gamer tag is Lucky Frog, and so we're starting a thing. Really cool. And I'll be honest, like, it's one of the things I missed about, like Genesis Week. You're being able to go to these live conferences and meet with people that are doing crazy stuff. We got free board games. We got to demo new games. It's the whole value of that. Looks real as hell. Like absolutely real. Like, wow. Yeah. No.
Other than looking for that motion picture purposes up in the corner.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, you look past it quick. Like, absolutely. You're like, dude, make it rain. Make it rain.
And then I got the band of 20s.
You gotta hold that up. And then the little pic should be bribing players for nominations.
Nomination bribes.
Nomination bribes are now open. Don't forget to vote for UpX Podcast, Broadcaster of the Year.
You can win this.
Yeah. Get paid. Doesn't look like real money to me.
Because it's not Australian money.
Morally? Maybe that's because you've only seen single dollars from your mom. Nope. All right. Sorry. Went too hard. Went too hard.
Go squirrely it like that.
Jeez. No, sorry. I'm playing. I love you, man. Jeez. I already screenshot of. Gee. Oh, there's cheesy gangster.
So that was my fun today.
Yeah. I would have definitely messed up. Like, did anybody see you with that box? Like, just no. I need you to drop this off on your way at the train station underneath the bench. Like,
oh no! I hope you didn't open that. We got to take that somewhere.
yeah. I'd be like, Did you look inside the box? Oh, they're not going to be happy about that. Please seal it back up. Try to make it. Did you move anything? They're going to know. Oh, man, they're going to like freak out. Like, just like put the fear. Like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, I looked in the box. Oh, that was like the one rule. We weren't allowed to look in the box.
I wish I would have been on that. Oh, that would have been
my
hilarious.
God. For sure.
She would have been mad, but it would have been worth it.
Oh, worth it. Totally worth it.
It would have been worth it. So, sorry, back to the Web3 gameplay.
Cashed
out your Upland account. Then she would have definitely known it was fake.
There's a mailbox on the south side of the park.
There you go.
Yeah. But like these are legit, you know, other than the feels off, but they're worn and yeah, they're super awesome. So if you need play money or you want to mess with your spouse, propmoney.com.
Propmoney.com. You know what? I'm not above that. Like, yeah, man, because you could like hide that in a house somewhere, like in a place that you know that they'll find it. Oh yeah. Market with some chalk. That must be a thing. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what that means. But all right, what else we got?
So back to the Sparklet Wars. I know we got sidetracked off of that and just the discussion that they're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we can almost. I think it's almost guaranteed that we're not going to see the ability to. Market with some chalk. Oh, I didn't put that together. Those aren't my kind of party favors. Sorry, that's not me. But no, I think we're not going to see you being able to select the team you're on anymore. I think if they continue it, that's almost certainly going to go away. I don't know what that's actually going to do to the game. I don't know if they're going to keep the assets. It's a lot of questions, right? Like, it sounded like it's getting kind of retired and revamped. Is that how you read it? Like,
well, it sounds like they already had some tweaks in the works. They also had, I want to say, they're looking for input, and it would be kind of hard, you know, because I think you would lose interest if you kept the prices where they were for the assets and you had to keep buying it because you just ended up with whatever random faction you ended up on. So you'd have to look at the pricing there. They're honestly seeking feedback. They did give you a link to a form. They're using Genesis Week to
but I mean, like, what feedback would you give though? Like, honestly, like, what do they like? Here's the thing, like, if you don't have any good ideas, I mean, it feels a little late to ask the community. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It just feels like, shouldn't you be telling us how to make a better game? Like, shouldn't you be telling us he likes freedom of choice for factions?
It wasn't $300. They had $60,000 on sale for $20. You can't unban that. Then they had a couple of sales going on this weekend that I took advantage of. So yeah, not $300. I got better things for $300, but I spent about $100 on my fake money.
Geez, I think you and I have more planned for G Week than they do. Yeah, no, they obviously don't. They're obviously going by the seat of their pants. It's not a surprise. Like, it's going to be the most uneventful G Week, I think, in the history of G Weeks. And that's sad. Like, that's not the way it should go.
And you know, that's the other thing. If you don't have somebody on your team that has the data, you know, the blockchain knowledge to be able to put together the maps that the cyborgs had to just be able to pinpoint everything and strategize like that. And then they talk about new players or smaller holdings. It doesn't seem fair. Well, yeah, because you got to buy properties, or you have to have Sparklet, or you have to buy the assets. So you know, you do exclude a lot of people on it. It's a challenging it's a challenging task to try to include everybody. It's going to be a challenge to include everybody and make it fun for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there are, I think, but again, like this is where I don't think this is the play. Like, I think that there should be the way that they should do it is, I mean, there's a lot of different things, but it's completely different than like Sparklet Wars in and of itself is just, I think, a broken model. I think you need much smaller factions. I think you can do, and the way I would do it is try to pair bigger accounts with smaller accounts. So like you have a team and your team. So like in a lot of games you have like your player power, right? Like if you're making a deck, you can have, you know, a couple really big powerful cards, and then you can have a lot of smaller, less powerful cards. Like I think that each like player should have a player ranking based on their current holdings, etc., or their current player rank, and then you make smaller teams. And here's the thing: you can do teams inside of the factions, right? So you can still have your factions, but then make it smaller teams inside the factions, and then you have to have like those teams like are their own like unit, and it has to have like a veteran and, you know, some smaller players in order to compete, and they compete to build each other up and to coordinate with each other. And then so inside your factions, you have like smaller gangs inside the factions that are working together. And then you can balance it out by saying it's your average points per gang across your faction. So a smaller faction just needs a couple of gangs, where like the cyborgs can have a bunch of gangs, but then they all need to do well, because a couple gangs doing poorly will drive down their average. Like I don't know. Like there's a lot of different things that they could do. I think holistically though, battling is the wrong mechanic for Web3. You are a community building platform. Everything you do should be centered around building up communities. So this concept of fighting each other and creating factions that fight each other is Web 2 mentality. Like that to me is absolutely the wrong way to go about any sort of game development right now. But that's just me. Like I
Coming
think
from the person that loves Spud Wars.
I did, but that was a much smaller, like that was
I know. I just like giving you a hard time.
And it doesn't scale. Like
and it doesn't count. And
if you remember, it fractured the community
horribly.
Massively. And at that point, I didn't really care, because I was like, whatever. Screw it. Like we were kind of newer. Like we didn't have nearly as much invested. Like the friendships we had weren't as strong. But like it fractured the community hugely. And I don't think like parts of the community never healed from it. Like that's the darker side. Like you could do a whole episode like the darker side of Spud Wars. Like of all of the OGs that ended up splitting and like causing
it fractured friendships. Friendship, like people that used to be friends. It fractured friendships.
Like for real. Like so it was fun and it was engaging, but as a community, it actually damaged us quite a bit. It set us back probably 8 months as far as community building goes. Because it was brutal. Like, I mean, the whole like Dog Patch and Merced Manor and where was Panhandle? Like, it was not. And like poor Alamo Square get thrown in there, and Choina getting through the chopper and like it was bloodbath. Like it was not fun. Like I mean, it was fun in that sense. Anyway, it was.
They should have kept the trailers.
It was brutal. At scale, you can't do it. You need to have a different mentality. It needs to be about community building. You need to have factions that, you need to build up other factions to get points. Like that would be cool. Like the battling stuff is boring. It doesn't work. Like you should get points for helping each other out. and stuff like that. But
So
whatever.
would you say more of a competition of, hey, here you're on this team, and assign competitive points for building structures, and then maybe I still like the idea of the community structures that they build. Um, Something more like that.
Yeah, it's like a beautification, right? So if somebody builds, like the way it should work is like you build one of those community structures, but then in order to get bonus points, you have to like you put like a structure next to it or like an enhancer, but you can only enhance the competitors. And so you get the benefit of the enhancement. Like so you're enhancing it and so you get benefit for enhancing it. They get like 10% and you get 90%, but like they get a small bump in points and you get the lion's share of points for making the enhancement, right? So like I think that you could do it in a way that again, and then you're driving people to make really cool creations, and then like how do we work together to actually build this up? And then even if you lose, you don't feel bad because you're helping each other like build something bigger than, and tearing each other down sucks. Like that feeling that you build something and then somebody puts a stupid cannon and it attacks it, like it creates bad blood. Like there's no reason to do that. Flip the script, make it friendly. Like, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's more cooperative. It's like a cooperative thing. Like,
and I could see, they've been doing the racing with the carts, which is fun, but if you don't have a cart, then you can't race. I know it's easier to get a cart than a car, so that's cool. I like that they do that. A lot of people were suggesting some treasure hunting. You can do treasure hunting you could incorporate that. Also, you could do scavenger hunts and see like the quickest times of a group finding a scavenger hunt where you work together as a team. There's a lot of different things that you can do there to acquire from a community building standpoint that's just not battles, but yet you can still acquire points, and you're improving the community, you're improving the neighborhoods with structures, maybe some sort of decoration of some sort, so you can help with map assets driving too.
yeah, exactly. It should be a
You're right, they did you're right, City, they did do one this time. This week was kind of busy.
Yeah, I like the idea of again, maybe the factions take on a giant mutant llama, right? Like I like the idea of a mission-based thing where, hey, we're trying to defeat, there's been a herd, do a role play scenario. Yeah, a herd of mutant llama have taken over, and now the cyborgs, pirates, and knights must team up together to defeat the evil llamas that have gone berserk. And so you and your fellow teams must build, defenses and attack oncoming llama. And then, they randomly select properties throughout the city to have llama. And then you have to, you place your battlements there and you place your defenses there. And if you defend, even if it's your own or somebody else's house, you get points for it. And if you attack the llama, like, then now like you're doing that. And by the way, hey, you can build it into your little lore legit. You can make it part of the story. And then you can have the actual battles and who won be weaved into your lore legits, that you're actually building the lore of the game with the wars. So now whoever wins, like the lore legits reflect that. And they go, and the mighty knights were able to slay 29 mutant llamas in the battle of blah, blah, blah in this neighborhood. And you can weave it into it. And holy cow, wouldn't that be a much more interesting event? And then you feel like you're contributing to the actual history and lore of Upland instead of just feeding them money and beating down your friends. I don't know. Just an idea.
Give him 4 months.
I gave him 5 years.
But it was good to see that they came out and said, hey, we swung and we missed on this one.
No, again, credit where credit's due. They did come out. They were pretty blunt and transparent, which I appreciate. But yeah, get it together, Upland.
What? Stop throwing those. You have anything else for Did you plug your show you're doing with your girl?
Yeah, I did. Lucky
Okay.
Frog Gaming.
All right. Definitely go check out Lucky Frog Gaming.
Maybe not yet. We're still warming up, but it'll be there. It'll get there.
Yeah, just do a couple hundred. Just do 60 shows and she'll warm up. You got the experience and you'll get her there.
Yeah.
Or do you need her to kind of guide you like I guide you through the shows?
Well, that's what I'm trying to. She's like, I have to be Jim, don't I? And I'm like, yep. Like, because she's like, well, wait, do we have a script? And I was like, a script? No, I just wing it. She's like, I can't. I need like a script. I'm like, well, then you have to do that because I'm not doing that. Like, I just go on and just say nonsense. Like that's my forte. Yeah. She likes it froggy style. Wet and in. Nope. Anyway.
Anything else before we get out of here this week?
No. Don't forget to nominate somebody for Broadcaster of the Year, preferably us.
Player of the Year and Designer of the Year.
Also, I'll take those as well.
Of course you will. All right. Everybody be safe. Wait, do I got to find a fill-in next week since you're going to be in Vegas then?
No, we're doing live from Vegas.
So you're going to join me on Thursday night?
Yeah. Not only me, Goldie's going to be
and
there.
Goldie. Okay.
Easy's going to be there. RobZilla's going to be there. We're gonna do it from the VIP suite in Vegas.
This is going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
You won't want to miss next week for sure.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a banger.
All right. Everybody be safe. Have fun. We'll see you out there in the metaverse. Till next week.
The Upland Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UP.